that actually went to. I think I was talking about. I got sidetracked earlier about when we talk about '90s and anime and shit like that.
Right.
That when we was doing the comic Lizard Heads, one of the things we were talking about is ways to kind of promote it and stuff. And I was talking about, well, maybe we do something with Comic Con and something with video games and stuff like that. Because video games, comics, and boy, John was like, nah, they don't really mix that well. I think like you're thinking. It's like anime and video games mix, comics and video games not so much. And I was like, I think you're right. I think maybe we see more of a blend.
Right.
But early gamers and stuff, it was anime games because a lot of video games were Japanese made, Japanese inspired because that ran the 90s and stuff like that.
Especially like looking at the artwork from like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, and a lot of gamers, they have a strong love for anime.
Fucking Akira Toriyama did all the art for Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. So you see that that they go hand in hand, but comics and video games.
They're getting there now.
There's a connection, but clearly to your point, nobody recognized Cutman and Mugman at a comics convention because you was at a comics convention, right? I think that speaks. I think it speaks to that though.
But I think now they're starting to have the big gaming areas.
They're starting to Marvel is now hey, we want to focus on getting Marvel games out and building out. This Marvel, I heard some
comics
rumors.
are going into video games, and video games are going into comics now. Because I think a lot of video games are realizing that comics is a better there's Udon Comic Street Fighter series from 10 plus years ago. Is a great series. It's almost perfect. Which I think it's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is what it's based on.
Yeah, okay.
Even to the point where at the end when Ryu's about to fight Bison, Akuma comes and whoops Bison's ass and fights Ryu instead. It's such a great comic book. But I think the overlap is happening. And then like you said, anime is always going to have a home in video games. Look at shit like Nier Automata, which is great. Definitely in my top 5 for 2017.
Wasn't that a PlayStation exclusive for a while? Yeah.
Actually, it's just about to come to Xbox and Switch.
Yeah. I think that was the announcement on one of the Xbox days, right? They did the Nier. Yeah. I didn't get to play Nier, but I heard about it. And I've been hearing about it on podcasts. It was one of those games where, there wasn't there a lot of different story options you can make, and you can have multiple outcomes of that game.
I think there's 26 endings.
Yes, that's what
I
heard.
They're like letters of the alphabet, and I think only A through E, maybe F, are the good endings. I think it's E, and then all the rest of them are bad endings because you're an android. If you eat fish, you die. That's an ending.
Super interesting. I definitely think because I didn't have a PlayStation for a while. I went the Xbox route, and I was I like Halo, I like Gears. That speaks to me. I'm gonna go Xbox in the beginning, and I didn't get a PlayStation for a while. I just recently got one. Maybe about a year ago or so. So I'm a little late to the PlayStation.
They're worth it now.
Yeah. Well, PlayStation 1. PlayStation, any console war you want to talk about, PlayStation 1 this generation. Easy. Because of exclusives.
Right.
That's
and it's weird because I'm not sure where the Switch falls in terms of generation. Because I feel like Wii U is the PlayStation.
It hasn't been out long enough to really make a statement.
Right. It's only been out a year. The rest of them have been out 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but it's definitely making moves to be a pretty powerful thing, pretty strong statement.
It's the way they make, because the Wii U, I think the double screen thing, I don't think they integrated it that well. I listen to the Easy Allies a lot, and one of the things one of those guys said was he was blowing on the screen on Mario. It was interesting the first time, but it's not something that I really no games that came out integrated it well enough for me to love. I think the best integration I saw on the Wii U was Kirby and the Rainbow Curse.
Okay.
But I also think that's the best looking game on the Wii U. Problem being, if you play one player or you play two players and you're the person playing as Kirby, you're looking at the gamepad the whole time, so you can't even see how gorgeous the game is. But if you're second or third player or fourth player or whatever, and you're playing on the screen with one of the Waddle Dees, then you get to see how gorgeous it is because you don't have to be constantly drawing yarn on the screen and stuff.
Yeah, I remember when I first got the Wii U, I played in Nintendo Land.
I used it to watch anime.
And, but in the Nintendo Land, they had some interesting concepts of how to use the gamepad with Wii U remotes and stuff like that. That I was like, okay, if some game developers really capitalize on this, there could be some interesting games that come out for this.
Right.
But it didn't happen because they were more focused with Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
And Wii U just kind of got thrown to the side. Nothing interesting came out.
You can see I got the Legend of Zelda.
It's nice.
If I can get Legend of Zelda anything, that's what I'm gonna do. Like my 3DS is Zelda based. Like that's probably number one in terms of franchise. Two. Baldur's the PC Baldur's Gate games, or that's like my number one of all time.
I think for me, if you're gonna say number one that had the biggest mark on me, Metal Gear Solid. I think that game franchise.
Is that one in my top 5? I feel like if it's not, it's like 6.
Yeah, that's definitely top one. See, I've always been like shooters and sneak games, stuff like that. That's been my world. I got into RPGs a little late in my younger teens years, but I got really enraptured with RPGs. So I played a lot of Final Fantasies, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, things like that. So I enjoyed it. But
I started with point and click,
but as
King's Quest.
As a series, it's like I think Metal Gear's got to be. I mean, hell, I named my second daughter. I named her after Eva in Metal Gear 4.
That's so awesome.
There was a 2-part to that though, because my wife we had a miscarriage and we lost the one, and so she got pregnant again, and it was Eva, and I think the name Eva means like new life.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt it had a double meaning that was great. I got it from a game that I really love, which is awesome. And my favorite series, Metal Gear Solid. And, it just fit like new life because we lost one and now we have another one. So
which that is a beautiful, and
it was
have you told her that story?
My daughter?
Yeah.
No, I haven't really told her. She's 10.
Yeah, she's not old enough to really appreciate the beauty of that story.
Yeah, so I didn't really tell her. I didn't really get into it like that with her. But like my wife, she wouldn't have been sold on a video game character named after her. But when I told her the other thing, she was like, "Okay, I'm on board."
That's why, with my kid, there were so many routes I wanted to take, but so many that I knew wouldn't fly.
Yeah, you had the Kevin Smith route and name your daughter Harley Quinn.
because we were trying to pick names, I had thought it was going to be a boy, so I was like, my child's name is going to be Bruce Jeffrey Jones. Bruce, because Batman. Jeffrey, because of my dad.
Oh, nice.
And she was like, okay, if we have a boy, that's fine. And I was like, I don't want to be a dick, so I should probably, give her some girl names, too, just in case.
Yeah.
And so I legit went through a bunch of girl names that I really liked from, books I've read and stuff like that. Rejected all of them.
Yeah.
Every single one. When she was like, I was thinking Nova. And I was like, oh, it's so good. It's such a good goddamn name.
Yeah.
I didn't want to argue.
That's it.
And so, yeah,
that's the winner.
But,
yep.
But
But see, Eva, she was my first biological daughter. She's my second daughter because my wife got pregnant before when she was real young. And that was, her first. And I adopted her. Okay. So she's mine now, but I wasn't there in the naming phase. I didn't meet her when she was 4. But she's my daughter now.
Right. Which is how